The 20 cent coin dated 1999 with a mint mark from España, Spain, featuring Miguel de Cervantes, is a fascinating piece that blends numismatics, Spanish cultural identity, and the early history of the euro into a single object. Although dated 1999, this coin belongs to the first euro coin series. 1999 was established as the official reference year for euro coinage, even though physical circulation in Spain began in 2002. As a result, millions of coins bear the 1999 date while being struck in subsequent years. The mint mark identifies the Real Casa de la Moneda, Fábrica Nacional de Moneda y Timbre, FNMT, in Madrid, Spain's centuries-old national mint, which has operated in various forms since the 18th century. The obverse design shows a left-facing portrait of Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra, 1547 to 1616, Spain's most celebrated writer and the author of Don Quixote de la Mancha, widely regarded as the first modern novel and one of the greatest works in world literature. Cervantes' inclusion symbolizes Spain's contribution to European and global culture, literacy, satire, and humanism. His name, Cervantes, appears prominently on the coin, alongside the word Espa and the year 1999, emphasizing national identity within the shared European currency. The reverse side follows the common European Union design used on all 20-cent euro coins of the period, depicting a map of Europe pre-2004 enlargement, with lines connecting EU member states, symbolizing cooperation and unity. The denomination, 20 cent, is clearly marked. The coin is struck in Nordic gold, an alloy of copper, aluminum, zinc, and tin, chosen for its durability, golden color, and resistance to corrosion. Despite its name, it contains no actual gold. Technically, the coin has a diameter of 22.25 millimeters, a weight of 5.74 grams, and a thickness of about 2.14 millimeters. Its distinctive edge is smooth with 7 evenly spaced indentations, a feature designed to help visually impaired users and to distinguish it by touch from other denominations. From a numismatic perspective, the 1999 dated Spanish 20-cent Cervantes coin is very common, as it was produced in large quantities for mass circulation, meaning it typically holds face value unless found in uncirculated, proof, or mint set condition, where collector interest increases modestly. Historically, the coin represents Spain's transition from the peseta, a currency used for more than a century, into the euro system, marking a profound economic and political shift tied to European integration. Culturally, Cervantes' presence on everyday money reflects how deeply literature and language are woven into Spanish national pride. His influence is so great that Spanish is often called La Lengua de Cervantes. Overall, the 20 cent 1999 España Cervantes coin is not rare, but it is rich in meaning, a small, functional artifact that connects modern European monetary policy with Renaissance literature, Spanish heritage, and the historic birth of the euro itself. The next top. The 20 cent 2001 España, Miguel de Cervantes coin is part of Spain's very first euro coinage, issued at a historically significant moment when the country transitioned from the peseta to the euro, making this piece both a monetary and cultural milestone. Struck in 2001 at the Real Casa de la Moneda, Royal Spanish Mint, in Madrid, indicated by the mint mark, the coin was released primarily for circulation starting in 2002, alongside the rest of the Eurozone launch. The obverse features a finely detailed portrait of Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra, 1547 to 1616, Spain's most celebrated writer and the author of Don Quixote de la Mancha, widely regarded as the first modern novel and one of the most influential literary works in world history. Cervantes is depicted facing left, with his name Cervantes inscribed prominently, symbolizing Spain's decision to present its literary heritage, rather than royalty or political figures, as a core element of its European identity. This choice was deliberate and meaningful, reflecting democratic values, intellectual achievement, and Spain's global cultural contribution. The reverse of the coin follows the standard common European 20-cent design created by Luc Luix, showing a map of Europe with the denomination 20 cent, emphasizing unity among EU member states prior to later map expansions. The coin is composed of Nordic gold, an alloy of 89% copper, 5% aluminum, 5% zinc, and 1% tin, giving it a distinctive golden color while containing no actual gold. It weighs 5.74 grams, has a diameter of 22.25 millimeters, and features a unique 7-indented edge, often described as a Spanish flower shape, designed to help visually impaired users distinguish it by touch. The 2001 Cervantes issue had a very high mintage, over 115 million pieces, which means it is common in circulated condition and typically holds modest monetary value today, usually close to face value unless preserved in uncirculated, BU, or proof condition. Proof versions, struck with specially polished dies for collectors, were issued in limited quantities within official mint sets and can command higher prices depending on condition and packaging. Numismatically, this coin is valued less for rarity and more for symbolism. It represents Spain's entry into a shared European economy while firmly anchoring its national identity in literature rather than power or wealth. For collectors, especially those focusing on Euro origins, Spanish numismatics, or literary-themed coins, the 2001 Cervantes 20-cent piece is a cornerstone issue, historically rich, culturally expressive, and instantly recognizable. If you want, I can also go into era varieties, market value by grade, proof versus circulation differences, or a comparison with later Spanish euro designs the next top. The 20-euro-cent coin of Spain dated 2002 with a mint mark, M. Madrid, and the portrait of Miguel de Cervantes is a standard circulation coin that carries a surprisingly rich mix of literary, historical, artistic, and monetary symbolism, making it far more interesting than its modest face value suggests. Struck at the Fábrica Nacional de Moneda y Timbre, Real Casa de la Moneda in Madrid, the M. mint mark identifies Spain's official state mint, one of the oldest continuously operating mints in Europe, and the year 2002 is especially significant because it marks the first year euro coins officially entered circulation, replacing the Spanish peseta after centuries of use, which makes this coin part of a historic monetary transition for Spain and for Europe as a whole. The obverse features Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra, 1547 to 1616, widely regarded as Spain's greatest writer and one of the most influential figures in world literature, best known as the author of Don Quixote de la Mancha, often considered the first modern novel. His portrait on the coin is rendered in a restrained, classical style, emphasizing intellectual dignity rather than royal power, and this choice reflects Spain's decision to represent its national identity through culture and language, rather than monarchs on certain denominations. Around the portrait appears the inscription Espa, identifying the issuing country, along with the date 2002, while the 12 stars of the European Union appear as a symbolic ring representing unity, solidarity, and harmony among Europe's nations, reinforcing the idea that this coin is both deeply Spanish and fully European. The reverse side of the coin follows the common European design created by Luc Luix, used by all Eurozone countries on the 10, 20, and 50-cent denominations, showing a stylized map of Europe without national borders, symbolizing economic integration and shared destiny, with the denomination 20 euro cent prominently displayed. This shared reverse design was meant to make the euro immediately recognizable and to encourage a sense of collective European identity across national lines. In terms of physical characteristics, the coin has a diameter of 22.25 millimeters, a weight of 5.74 grams, and a distinctive Spanish flower edge with 7 indents, designed to help visually impaired users identify the coin by touch. It is struck in Nordic gold, an alloy of copper, aluminum, zinc, and tin, notable for its golden color despite containing no actual gold. Chosen for its durability, resistance to corrosion, and compatibility with vending machines. From a numismatic perspective, the 2002 Spanish 20-cent Cervantes coin is very common, as Spain produced extremely large quantities to meet the sudden demand created by the euro's launch, and while it generally holds little monetary value beyond face value in circulated condition, it remains appealing to collectors as part of complete euro typesets, first-year euro collections, and thematic collections focused on literature, writers, or Spanish cultural heritage. uncirculated examples may carry a small premium, and proof versions issued in official mint sets are more desirable, especially when preserved in original packaging. Culturally, the choice of Cervantes is deeply symbolic. Don Quixote is not only a cornerstone of Spanish literature, but also a foundational work of Western storytelling, exploring themes of idealism, reality, freedom, and identity, and by placing Cervantes on everyday money, Spain effectively put its literary soul into the hands of millions of people, turning daily commerce into a subtle act of cultural remembrance. Historically, this coin also marks Spain's successful integration into the European Monetary Union, representing economic stability after decades of modernization following the late 20th century, and today it stands as a small but meaningful artifact of a pivotal era when Europe redefined how its citizens thought about money, borders, and shared identity. Quietly carrying centuries of Spanish language, imagination, and history in a piece of metal most people barely glance at before passing it on. The next top. The 20 cent 2006 España Cervantes coin is part of Spain's standard circulating euro coinage and belongs to the Spanish euro cent series introduced in 2002, with the 20-cent denomination struck in 2006 at the Real Casa de la Moneda, Royal Spanish Mint, in Madrid, which is identified by the mint mark M on the coin. This piece is composed of Nordic gold, an alloy of 89% copper, 5% aluminum, 5% zinc, and 1% tin, giving it its distinctive golden color despite containing no actual gold. And it weighs 5.74 grams, has a diameter of 22.25 millimeters, a thickness of 2.14 millimeters, and a uniquely shaped 7-indent edge, Spanish flower edge, that helps visually and tactily distinguish it from other euro denominations. The obverse, national side, features a right-facing portrait of Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra, 1547 to 1616, one of Spain's most important literary figures and the author of Don Quixote de la Mancha, widely regarded as the first modern novel and a foundational work of Western literature, making Cervantes a powerful cultural symbol chosen to represent Spain's intellectual heritage within the euro system, while the inscription Espa appears on the obverse along with the year 2006, and the engraving style emphasizes realism and dignity, reflecting Cervantes' enduring influence on the Spanish language, often called La Lengua de Cervantes, which today is spoken by hundreds of millions of people worldwide. The reverse, common side, follows the standard euro design, created by Luc Loix, showing a map of Europe, pre-2007 enlarged EU layout, with the denomination 20 cent, symbolizing unity and economic integration among member states. In terms of mintage, Spain produced tens of millions of 20-cent coins in 2006, meaning the coin is not rare in circulated condition and was intended primarily for everyday use rather than collectors, though uncirculated, BU, and proof versions exist, especially within official mint sets, which are more desirable to numismatists due to their sharper details and original luster. Historically, this coin sits within an important phase of European monetary history, as it represents Spain's full integration into the euro system during the early years of the common currency, before later design updates in 2007 modified the reverse map to reflect EU expansion. From a collector's perspective, the coin's value is generally close to face value unless preserved in high-grade condition, such as MS67 or higher. Included in sealed mint packaging, or paired with special provenance, but its cultural and educational value is significant, as it connects everyday commerce with one of the greatest literary minds in history. Aesthetically, the Cervantes portrait is often praised for its balance of classical gravitas and modern minting clarity, making the 20 cent Spain 2006 coin a small yet meaningful artifact that blends literature, national identity, metallurgy, and European unity into a single circulating object used by millions, quietly carrying centuries of Spanish cultural legacy in the palm of a hand. The next top. The 20 cent coin of Spain from 2007 is one of the regular circulation euro coins issued by the Kingdom of Spain as part of the common currency used throughout the Eurozone. This coin belongs to the second series of Spanish 20-cent pieces that were minted from 2007 to 2009 and is officially catalogued as KM number 1071 in standard world coin references. It carries the denomination of 20 cents, 20 euro cents, and is made of Nordic gold, an alloy composed primarily of copper, with small amounts of aluminum, zinc, and tin, chosen for its combination of durability and color that resists corrosion and wear. Ideal for everyday coinage. The coin weighs approximately 5.74 grams, has a diameter of 22.25 millimeters, and features a distinctive edge that is smooth with 7 notches, often described as a Spanish flower shape, which helps in tactile identification by touch. Euronomy +1. The obverse, national side, of the 2007 Spanish 20-cent coin is strongly symbolic of Spain's cultural heritage. It depicts the portrait bust of Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra, the towering figure of Spanish literature and author of Don Quixote, widely regarded as one of the greatest novels ever written and a cornerstone of Western literature. Cervantes lived from 1547 to 1616, and his works have had an enduring influence on the Spanish language and literature. On the coin, Cervantes is shown with a quill pen at his shoulder and his surname, Cervantes, inscribed in a cursive style, a reference to his identity as a writer. Above his image is the inscription Espa, Spain, while at the bottom is the minting year, 2007, and the crowned M mint mark of the Royal Mint of Madrid, Real Casa de la Moneda. Surrounding the central design on the obverse are 12 five-pointed stars, symbolizing the member states of the European Union. In this second series design, 2007 to 2009, 4 of the stars, at the 12, 1, 2, and 3 o'clock positions, are set within a smooth, incuse field, a slightly indented area, a stylistic element that was later removed in designs from 2010 onward. Euronomy +1. On the reverse, common side, the design aligns with the standard common side used by all countries in the Eurozone. It features a map of Europe without national borders, symbolizing unity and economic cooperation among EU members, to the left of the coin. To the center right is the face value, 20 euro cent, with 6 vertical lines intersected by stars at each end, radiating behind the map, a motif shared by all 20-cent coins in the Euro series. This European-wide design replaced the earlier map used from 1999 to 2006 and reflects the changing structure of the European Union after enlargement. Euronomy. In terms of production figures, the 2007 Spanish 20-cent coin was struck in significant numbers, with about 46.5 million pieces released for general circulation from the Madrid Mint. Despite this relatively high mintage, the coin is considered common among collectors, typical for everyday coins that circulated widely in commerce across the Eurozone. There were also small numbers struck in uncirculated and proof qualities for collectors, which are usually packaged separately and not intended for spending. Veronum. From a numismatic perspective, coin collecting, the value of a regular circulated 2007 20-cent Spanish coin usually hovers only slightly above its face value, often around 23 to 28 cents on collector markets, depending on condition and demand. Uncirculated examples, in mint state, might fetch a bit more among enthusiasts, while proof versions, limited production collector coins with exceptionally sharp, mirror-like surfaces, can command a higher price, albeit still modest compared to rare historic coins. Condition, rarity, and market interest all influence specific values, and coins with unusual errors or extremely high grades may interest specialized collectors. Veronum +1. The design concept itself has cultural and historical richness. Featuring Cervantes on the obverse reflects Spain's pride in one of its most illustrious literary figures, and the overall coin design carries the visual language of European unity and cooperation. The use of Nordic gold, combined with his Spanish flower, edge, and detailed engravings by artists assigned to the project, such as the obverse designer Begoña Castellanos Garcia and the reverse designer Luke Lux for common sides, means the coin is both functional for everyday transactions and expressive of national and continental identity. And Numista.com. In summary, the 20 cent 2007 Spain Cervantes coin is a well-circulated, historically grounded piece of modern numismatic art. It serves not just as a unit of currency, but as a cultural token commemorating Spain's literary heritage, European integration, and the craftsmanship of mint engravers. If you're interested in collecting this coin, its condition, from worn circulation examples to pristine proof strikes, historical context, and personal appreciation of Cervantes all factor into its appeal and worth in your collection.